Welcome, rare gems. When a Sigma female walks away, she's not just leaving, she's choosing herself. For the Sigma female, walking away is never an impulsive decision. It's a clear, conscious choice. Unlike others who may stay in situations out of comfort or fear of change, she knows her worth and won't settle for less than what aligns with her values, her peace, and her self-respect. Once she's made the decision to leave, it's final. She doesn't look back, because for her, the act of walking away is the beginning of her next chapter, not a moment of regret or longing. But why does she never come back once she's gone? It's not about holding grudges or being cold. It's about knowing that sometimes the best way to protect your growth and your future is to walk away from what no longer serves you. The Sigma woman has already done the inner work, already grieved the loss, and moved forward in a way that allows her to build a better version of herself. If you've been left behind by a Sigma female, it can be tough to understand why she never looks back. But it's important to remember that her decision is rooted in self-respect, clarity, and the understanding that moving forward is always better than being stuck in the past. Curious to learn more about why Sigma women choose this path? Watch the full video to dive deeper into their mindset and discover the strength behind their choices. Number 1. She doesn't return to old versions of herself. You can't go back to who you were, and that's the point. Some people leave relationships, friendships, or situations, but deep down they're still stuck there mentally, still waiting for an apology, still hoping things will change. But a Sigma female, she's different. When she walks away, it's not just physical. It's mental, emotional, spiritual. And most importantly, it's permanent. She doesn't just leave people. She leaves behind versions of herself that no longer serve her. So when someone asks, will she come back? The honest answer is, who would be coming back? Because the woman you once knew, she evolved, she upgraded. She outgrew the space where you left her. She's not interested in revisiting a place where she had to shrink herself to be accepted. Not anymore. This isn't about bitterness, it's about self-awareness, growth, unapologetic transformation. The Sigma female isn't trying to prove her worth to anyone. She knows who she is, and every time she walks away, she walks toward a better version of herself. If you're in that space, breaking free, outgrowing who you used to be, and wondering if you're being too much for walking away, this message is for you. You're not crazy, you're conscious, you're not cold, you're clear. Watch the full video. Because once you understand the power of never returning to what broke you, you'll stop apologizing for your evolution and start owning it. Number 2. Emotional nostalgia doesn't work on her. She doesn't romanticize the past. Sentimentality is a trap she refuses to walk back into. Most people, when things fall apart, start replaying the good moments, the laughs, the late-night talks, the butterflies. They get stuck in a loop, missing the highlight reel while ignoring the full movie. But a Sigma female? She doesn't fall for that. She knows better than to let memories cloud her judgment. Emotional nostalgia is powerful, yes, but it's also a trap, and she's learned how to dodge it every single time. She doesn't sit around replaying what could have been. She remembers what actually happened. The disrespect, the silence, the inconsistency, the moment she had to shrink herself just to keep the peace. That's what grounds her. She doesn't hate the past, but she doesn't fantasize it either. She sees it for what it was, not what she wished it could be. It's not that she didn't love deeply. She did. She felt everything. But now she uses logic where emotion used to take the lead. And that's what makes her so dangerous in the best way. She doesn't let a sweet memory convince her to return to a bitter situation. So when an old flame pops back up with, "Remember when?" or a toxic friend suddenly wants to catch up, she doesn't bite. She knows that if the past was so good, she wouldn't have had to walk away from it in the first place. That's the difference. She doesn't confuse missing a moment with missing a person. If you're someone who keeps getting pulled back by nostalgia, hear this. Just because it was real doesn't mean it was right. And just because you remember it fondly doesn't mean you belong there again. The Sigma woman teaches us this. Sentimentality is not a reason to stay stuck. Let the past be what it was, not what it pretends to be. Number 3, she's not scared to start over. She's addicted to reinvention. Leaving isn't failure to her, it's a fresh canvas, and she paints better alone. For most people, starting over feels like a setback, like something went wrong, and now they have to rebuild from scratch. But for a Sigma woman, starting over isn't failure, it's freedom. Every time she walks away from a situation, a relationship, or even a part of her life that no longer serves her, she sees it as an opportunity to reinvent herself. The old version of her may be gone, but she doesn't mourn it. She celebrates it. She views each new chapter as a chance to create something better, something stronger. She's not scared of change. In fact, she thrives on it. She knows that the only way to grow is to embrace reinvention, even if it means stepping into the unknown. While others are terrified of letting go of their comfort zone, she eagerly steps into the unknown, armed with the belief that she can create whatever life she wants. The blank page isn't intimidating to her, it's exciting. It's the perfect place to start painting the masterpiece that is her life, free from anything or anyone that tries to hold her back. What makes her so different is that she's not relying on others to validate her next step. She paints her own future, with her own vision, and she does it alone if necessary. There's power in solitude. She's learned that she can accomplish more by trusting her instincts and relying on her own strength than by staying attached to something that limits her. If you're someone who feels stuck, afraid of starting over, or worried that walking away will mean failure, let this be a reminder. Reinvention is not a setback, it's an opportunity. Every time you leave behind what doesn't serve you, you're making room for something better. And in the end, you'll realize you paint your best masterpiece when you're free to be yourself. Number 4. Her standards are set in concrete, not sand. She doesn't revise her values to accommodate someone who failed to meet them. She rewrites her life, not her boundaries. Some women bend, stretch, and compromise just to keep someone around. Not the Sigma female. Her standards aren't suggestions. They're solid like concrete. She doesn't set boundaries to maybe follow them. She sets them because they reflect who she is, what she values, and what she will never tolerate. And when someone tries to test that, she doesn't flinch. She walks. See, the Sigma woman doesn't lower the bar just because someone can't reach it. If anything, she steps back and asks, "Why would I make myself smaller just to make you comfortable?" She doesn't adjust her expectations for love, loyalty, or respect to fit someone else's limitations. She adjusts her environment to remove the people who don't measure up. You can't guilt her, manipulate her, or sweet-talk her into giving you another chance if you've already proven you don't deserve one. She's not rude about it, but she is firm. And that firmness confuses people who are used to pushing boundaries and getting away with it. This is the kind of woman who will leave a relationship, a friendship, even a job, not because she wants drama, but because her peace and integrity are non-negotiable. She rewrites her plans, switches up her path, even starts from scratch if she has to. But what she won't do is rewrite her values to fit into someone else's comfort zone. If you're trying to become that version of yourself, unshakable, clear, and loyal to your own standards, remember this. People will call you difficult when you stop being easy to use. Let them. Because once your standards are set in concrete, only the real ones will be able to stand beside you. The rest, they'll wash away like footprints in the sand. Number 5. Loyalty, once betrayed, becomes her coldest silence. She's loyal to a fault until you show her she's wrong. After that, her loyalty shifts entirely to herself. Loyalty is one of the deepest values a Sigma woman holds. She's the type of person who'll go to bat for you, stand by your side through thick and thin, and give you her unwavering trust. But here's the catch. Once that loyalty is betrayed, once she realizes that the trust she placed in you was misplaced, the shift is subtle, but devastating. You won't hear her shout, demand answers, or even cry. What you'll get instead is something far more powerful. Her cold, absolute silence. When her loyalty is broken, she doesn't make a scene. She doesn't beg you to fix what's already been ruined. She simply withdraws, and that withdrawal speaks volumes. It's not out of anger or bitterness. It's out of respect for herself. She no longer needs to prove her worth through someone else's actions. Once you've shown her that her loyalty doesn't matter to you, she pulls her energy back and focuses it entirely on herself. This isn't her being dramatic or petty. It's her self-preservation kicking in. She's learned the hard way that loyalty isn't something that should be freely given to anyone who doesn't value it. And once she sees that you've crossed that line, she doesn't need to keep trying. She doesn't need explanations or closure. She simply moves on. Her loyalty isn't something to be taken for granted. And if you prove you can't handle it, she'll redirect it back where it truly belongs, with herself. If you've ever been betrayed by someone who took your loyalty for granted, this is your sign. Loyalty is not a weakness. It's a strength that should never be given to anyone who doesn't know how to respect it. The Sigma woman shows us that once your loyalty is betrayed, it's not a loss. It's an opportunity to realign with your own worth. Number 6. She's unapologetically self-centered when needed. When it's time to choose between her well-being and your ego, she'll choose herself every time. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that selflessness is the ultimate virtue. Society tells us to always put others first, to constantly prioritize the needs of those around us. But a Sigma woman knows that while caring for others is important, her first and most sacred responsibility is to herself. She understands that in order to give her best to anyone, she has to be at her best. And that often means putting her well-being above someone else's ego, no matter how uncomfortable that might make them feel. When the moment comes to make a tough decision, when someone expects her to sacrifice her peace, her happiness, or her mental health for their own comfort, she doesn't hesitate. She chooses herself unapologetically. She knows that in the long run, taking care of herself is what allows her to show up as her best self for others. She doesn't feel guilty for protecting her space, her energy, or her boundaries, even if it bruises someone's ego. This doesn't make her selfish, it makes her self-aware. She understands that she can't pour from an empty cup, so when push comes to shove, she prioritizes her own well-being over keeping someone else happy. This may mean walking away from a relationship, cutting ties with a draining friendship, or saying no to something that doesn't align with her values. And in those moments, she doesn't apologize for it. Because the Sigma woman knows this truth. You can't help others if you're not strong, balanced, and whole within yourself. And if choosing herself means disappointing someone else along the way, so be it. She'll always choose her peace and her mental health first, knowing that is the only way she can truly give to others. Number 7. She values peace over passion. If the relationship cost her peace, she'll drop it without hesitation, no matter how intense the connection was. Passion is powerful. It's that magnetic pull, that fire that makes everything feel alive. But for a Sigma woman, no matter how intense the connection, if it disrupts her peace, it's not worth keeping. She understands that emotional chaos, no matter how thrilling, can never compare to the calm of a balanced mind and a steady heart. For most people, the highs of a passionate relationship often come with equally intense lows. The drama, the emotional roller coasters, the constant ups and downs, though exhilarating at first, they can be draining. The Sigma female sees through this. She knows that peace isn't just a luxury, it's essential. It's the foundation of her mental and emotional well-being. So if a relationship begins to disturb her inner peace, no amount of chemistry or excitement is enough to make her stay. She'll walk away without a second thought. This doesn't mean she doesn't value connection or deep, meaningful relationships. On the contrary, she craves them. But she's learned the hard way that a connection built on turmoil or unpredictability isn't worth having. She won't cling to a relationship that feels like it's costing her more than it's giving. If the passion is built on instability or insecurity, she knows it's not sustainable in the long run. And here's the truth. Peace is what allows her to truly thrive. When she's at peace with herself and her surroundings, she's unstoppable. She knows her worth, and she won't sacrifice her mental calm for someone or something that doesn't add value. If a relationship is bringing her more stress than joy, it's not worth it. She'll walk away without hesitation because peace is something she'll never compromise on. If you're caught up in a passionate but unstable relationship, ask yourself, is it worth losing your peace for? The Sigma woman knows her answer. Number 8. She measures love in actions, not apologies. Words mean nothing after damage is done. She doesn't believe in second chances when you already blew the first. A Sigma woman doesn't fall for sweet talk. You can come to her with the most poetic apology, a well-rehearsed speech, or 1,000 promises to change. But if your actions didn't back up your words the first time, she's already tuned out. To her, love isn't about what you say, it's about what you do when no one's watching. It's about consistency, not damage control. She pays attention. She notices how you treat her when you're comfortable, not just when you're trying to win her back. If you disrespected her, neglected her, or took her for granted, then turned around with an apology, expecting forgiveness, you've already missed the point. She doesn't need grand gestures after the fact. She needed the small, meaningful actions before the damage was done. And if you couldn't give that to her the first time around, she has no reason to believe you'll suddenly become the person she deserves. Sigma women don't hand out second chances like candy. They don't entertain the idea of going backwards just because someone regrets what they lost. Regret is not love. Apologies are not change. She's not looking for someone to say sorry. She's looking for someone who doesn't give her a reason to need one in the first place. This kind of mindset may seem harsh to some, but it's not about being cold. It's about protecting her heart. She spent too long learning to trust herself, to build emotional boundaries that keep her strong. So when someone proves through their actions that they can't respect her, she doesn't wait for them to do better. She moves on, and she does it with grace. If you ever had a Sigma woman's love and lost it, understand this. Your apology may be heard, but it won't be enough. Because to her, love without respect, effort, and consistency was never love to begin with. Number 9. Her heart let go even before her feet did. Sigma females mourn the loss while still inside the relationship. When they walk, they've already healed. Most people think that when someone walks away from a relationship, it's a sudden break, an impulsive move filled with emotion and pain. But for the Sigma female, that's rarely the case. By the time she makes the decision to leave, she's already gone through the grieving process, quietly, on her own terms. She's felt the sting, the heartbreak, and the disappointment long before she physically steps out the door. What you see as a dramatic exit is actually the final chapter of a much longer, private journey of acceptance. While others might be holding on to the hope of change, she's already accepted the reality. She's already felt the pain of what was lost, whether it's love, trust, or simply the idea of what the relationship could have been. She doesn't wait until she's walked away to start the healing process. She begins that work while she's still there. She grieves the version of the relationship that was never meant to be. And when the decision to leave finally comes, it's not impulsive. It's the result of months, sometimes years, of quiet reflection. By the time she walks, she's no longer emotionally attached to the outcome. She's not looking for an apology, an explanation, or a chance to turn things around. She's done the work internally. She's accepted what she can't change, and she's healed in silence. So when she leaves, there's no turning back. She doesn't feel the same weight anymore. She doesn't carry the emotional baggage of the past with her. She's already set herself free. If you've ever been that person, quietly mourning, knowing deep down that something was over long before it ended, you're not alone. You don't need a dramatic goodbye to prove that you've healed. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to walk away quietly, knowing you've already released what no longer serves you. Number 10. She understands that not everyone deserves access to her energy. Her vibe is rare, and she guards it like a vault. If you waste it, you're locked out. Let's be real. Some people will drain you without even realizing it. They'll take your kindness for granted, your presence as a given, and your energy like it's on tap. But a Sigma female doesn't play that game. She knows exactly how valuable her time, energy, and presence are, and she protects them like gold. Not everyone earns the right to be in her space, and once she sees that someone's just using up her energy without giving anything meaningful in return, she pulls the plug without warning. This isn't about being cold or too much. It's about knowing your worth in a world full of people who'll treat you like you're replaceable. The Sigma woman knows her vibe is not for everyone, and she's perfectly okay with that. She won't water herself down to be liked. She won't stick around just to avoid making someone uncomfortable. She gives people access on purpose, and she can take it away just as fast. The truth is, she's had to learn this the hard way. She's been there, overgiving, oversharing, overcaring for people who barely noticed her effort. But now, she pays attention. She watches how people treat her energy. Do they match it, respect it, add to it, or do they only show up when they need something? And if you're on the receiving end of her silence, understand this. It wasn't a random decision. It was a final one. She gave you access, you wasted it, and now the vault is closed. No second chances, no door left cracked open. Her energy isn't public property. It's earned, it's rare, and once it's gone for good. If this hits home, keep watching. Because understanding this mindset is key to becoming unshakable in your own journey. Number 11. She's built an internal world. No one can enter without earned access. Once you're out, there's no re-entry. You weren't just removed from her life. You were erased from her mental map. There's a power that comes with being a Sigma female. It's not the kind of power that's loud or flashy. It's quiet, internal, and ironclad. She's built an emotional world within herself, one that's rich, layered, and secure. And getting into that world, it's not something you can do with charm, sweet words, or promises. It's something that must be earned. She doesn't let just anyone close, and the few who do enter have to prove they're worthy of that trust, respect, and time. But the real kicker? Once you're out, there's no coming back. If you've violated her trust, hurt her, or shown her that you can't be relied upon, you're not just excluded from her life, you're erased. She doesn't leave room for you to linger in the background, or to pop back in when it's convenient for you. Once you've lost your place in her world, you cease to exist in her mental map. It's as though the person you were is a distant memory, and she's moved on without hesitation. This isn't done out of anger. It's done out of respect for herself. She doesn't waste energy on people who've proven themselves unworthy. Her emotional landscape is too precious for that. So if you've betrayed her or failed to honor her boundaries, don't expect a second chance. You won't get one. Her inner world is for those who earn a permanent place in it, and once you're removed, you're not getting back in. This is the power of letting go with grace. It's not coldness, it's clarity. It's understanding that you don't need to keep people in your life who drain your energy or compromise your peace. If you've ever wondered why someone disappears from your life and never comes back, this is why. They've erased you from their world, and now their focus is on building something better for themselves. And so should yours be. Conclusion. When a Sigma female walks away, it's not a decision made in haste or out of emotion. It's the result of careful thought, self-respect, and a deep understanding of her worth. She's not someone who clings to what no longer serves her. Once she leaves, it's because she knows her peace, her boundaries, and her emotional well-being are too valuable to compromise. If you've ever wondered why she never comes back, it's because she's not one to look back or regret her choices. She's already healed before she walks away, already grieved what was lost, and already let go of what didn't align with her. There's no drama, no begging for closure, just a quiet, graceful exit as she moves forward, focused on the future, not the past. If you've lost her, know this. Her decision wasn't personal. It was self-preservation. She knows that sometimes the best way to move forward is to leave behind what can't go with her. And while that might be difficult to understand, it's an important lesson for anyone who's been in her life. People who respect themselves don't compromise for anyone else. Her loyalty, her energy, her time, they're all precious, and she doesn't give them to just anyone. For those who are inspired by the Sigma woman's ability to walk away and never look back, remember this. You have the power to value yourself the same way. You don't have to settle. You don't have to chase what isn't meant for you. Just like a Sigma, you have the ability to walk away from anything or anyone that isn't helping you grow and move toward the life you deserve. It's all about knowing your worth and having the courage to protect it. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.